begin at the beginning. Want to ask you, what is your motivation for being here for the first time?
Mm-hmm. I think that my main motivation is that I like the projects when I have a lot of different people that I don't know, and different artists that work with different medias or non-artists, creatives. And yeah, it's and I never know what is going to happen, and I find this very exciting. And so I'm always going to the projects with curiosity and I guess some hope that I'm going to learn new things, meet new interesting people, be in nice place as well, and just I don't know. For me, there is anything that ever happens. There isn't bad and good experiences because everything is experience. So then it depends what I do with it. So if I go to a project and then I don't know, I don't fit in or I don't make the work, everything always is an experience that can add to progressing your work in some way or yourself. So I guess that making new work is the main motivation, and extending the network and being in some new location. I always find that I'm more productive out of my comfort zone, or like not necessarily even a comfort zone, but my everyday space. Yeah, because I just get more focus and
Okay. Yeah. You seem to have had other experiences with residencies, workshops like these. How does this one differ? How is it different from the other ones you've attended? If it is different at all?
Well, some of the things are similar, but I very much appreciate the structure of it. I think it's very well organized, and Arnar and Ari, they are very supportive and with materials and just with being there and giving us advice if we need to, but at the same time there isn't like much of a pressure, and so I think that it's nicely balanced. Like some of the places I was at, it was a bit more disorganized, or I guess that it always is a combination between people that organize and participants, because that's how the dynamic develops. But yeah, there is also like, I didn't feel that there was any specific subject. So the other projects that I went to, it was a bit more specific. There was like one on tourism and migration, the other one was on urban art. So that gave a bit more of a frame, whereas here there isn't such, and I like that as well, because you can just go with the flow and respond in any way, like more spontaneous. Yeah.
Okay. One of the first days we spoke together, and I've quoted you for saying, I just want to get on with things rather than getting involved with defining them. And you appear to me to be like a person, on both a professional and personal level, that are very like good at dealing with frustration or confusion. You just simply get over it and do stuff. But how is this notion of doing things, this interest in doing this instead of defining possible within such a framework where you are inspired to collaborate in such a direct way with people?
Notion of doing things. So how I experience just making things in this dynamic when you collaborate with others and getting this into some context or understanding what you are doing in a way. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it's just sometimes when you need to get things done,
Mm-hmm.
it can be difficult if you need like to agree with others.
Yeah.
That takes time sometimes, discussing and
Yeah.
stuff like that. How is that? Like,
Yeah.
you are 30
Well,
people.
yeah, that has been
Yeah.
happening, and yeah, I mean it is challenging because you know when you have some kind of idea and you're feeling quite strongly about this,
Mm-hmm.
then if someone is suggesting you to do something much different,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, so that has been happening. So I've been actually thinking about this the other day, because with the wall project that we're doing, there's been a lot of discussion and we've been suggested to do other things. So then I felt a bit like, oh, like, is there some kind of pressure that I have to do this? So I've been thinking about it a lot, and we talked about this with Nikolai. Then we had one idea, then we talked with other people. So we have been changing, and I've been thinking about it because sometimes I can be quite like, I don't know if you call it stubborn or like
Focused. maybe.
focused. If I believe in some idea, I can be quite, dedicated in making it happen. And I felt that like I quite strongly believed in the idea that we came up with. But then there have been a lot of changes, and it was this nice feeling of trying to stay on your ground and like kind of, I wouldn't say fight because I didn't have to fight with anyone.
No, but
just
negotiate maybe.
Yeah, like negotiate with keeping like being honest to yourself and to what you want to do, but at the same time being open to changing, and to like just taking in the feedback that people are giving and appreciating their skills and their point of view, because that's what I like in collaborations, that like in this project people they have different skills, and I was thinking of some concept and the way I compose it visually. Someone said, oh, maybe you can do this, and I was like, oh yeah, that is great. And sometimes people have just a bit different perspective, and it's like combination of different skills. I find that that's really like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That if you work with a group of people, then you can just make things happen that not necessarily you can do it all yourself, because you simply don't have all the skills. You might have, but if you don't, then it doesn't mean that you can't do certain projects, because if you combine different skills. So so that has been an interesting process for me, this negotiations and seeing how I respond to it, and how we have been doing this together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This year compared to last year, there has emerged a different approach or like dynamics between the groups. It's like there are like an idea of who is running what kind of project, who's pushing it,
Mm-hmm.
but everyone is showing an interest in everyone's work. How's that? What's that like? That someone just pops up with an idea or suggests something like without actually being invited in to ask. It seems like you are all helping each other very much out and like producing everything together.
I think that it's just being appreciated, because there isn't any kind of pressure or like a critical judgment coming up and people being like, oh, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that,
Mm-hmm.
but just kind of suggesting what could work out and being also open to suggestions of others.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there could be a more communication. We've been trying to make this meetings in the morning happen where people can communicate more, and that hasn't been really happening.
No.
But I don't know. It just seems that like all the groups like get on with what they doing, and they just they're trying to face the challenge of the weather, and yeah, I think that it's been going on well. I haven't, some of the group I'm not entirely sure what they're doing. I've just been talking to people and they told me, but I haven't seen it yet because we've been pretty much very close to the location where we're working at for most of the time, so I haven't seen the other stuff yet. But my idea was also that I wanted to get on with it as soon as possible and get it done as soon as possible, so then I can join other groups and help out. And I've had some other ideas that some people said they wanted to do it as well, and it's been nice because some people, they remember it, and Ari told me, oh, I'm making this thing for a photo booth, so it's going to be ready for you.
Yeah.
So it's really, it's really amazing because I'm still working there, and
But someone else are helping out with.
Yeah, so yeah, it's great.
Okay. One of the main aims or premises is, for the project is to give somehow something back to town. At least trying to inspire you all to address what you're doing to the town. How is that? How do you deal with that aspect, that you need to take the town into consideration with what you do?
Yeah, I've been actually talking yesterday to Nikolai about this, and yeah, I like this. I like this dynamic of. I would say maybe this sounds too much as exchange, but like giving and taking in a way.
Yeah.
I don't feel that there is anything wrong with this aspect of like thinking of when artists are making work to benefit the community. I think that it depends of the context, because in England, where I usually work, it's very difficult to get any funding from Arts Council unless you don't have this element of a participation of community, and it becomes almost like absurd. People just make up things to fill in the box.
Yeah, to get the money. Yeah.
And it's not, it's not coming from, their heart, and they wanting to actually interact with people and share experiences and just become a part of a community for the time being, where they are there maybe for longer if some of the staff remains. But I think it's great. I do believe that it's important that art involves in a social change, and anything is a social change in a way. So it's a process of something, and I think it's great if artists interact with community that they're working in, especially if they're coming from somewhere in a open and I would say, if respectful is a good word, but
if you just don't maybe violate things, with respect. I guess such a tiny town like this could maybe feel a bit violated if you just suddenly produce something without considering it's being. Okay, you've voiced an interest also in developing your own sort of residence workshop for the future. Is this stay an artistic exploration as much as it is researching in how to assemble and run social specific structures?
You mean this residency?
Yeah. Is it a bit of both for you, or are you now maybe more interested or concerned with you as an artist, or also researching on behalf of creating these structures for the future, for others?
Yeah, I mean it wasn't kind of intentional, the
Mhm.
research aspect of it,
Mhm.
and it just came the most recently that I've planned to do a similar project with another artist in Italy, and it's been just very organic.
Mhm.
So, but it's been very inspiring for me, like here and also talking to you. And now I really think about making one in Poland, where I never really thought about this. So, but it feels more like organic than the strategy. Oh, I go for this project,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to see how they are doing. So I feel it's more like.
A natural
Okay.
dilemma.
Yeah, like a natural development and people learning from each other and opening up like similar activities in other communities. Yeah.
Okay. Let's wrap this conversation up a bit with two questions.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is, if you were in the position to give any sort of advice, or do something different on behalf of the residency, what would that be? If you could change something now or for the future, what advice the guys behind this?
So far, I haven't really thought of anything.
Nothing
Yeah.
is lacking. You don't miss anything from any sort of perspective.
Yeah.
Maybe better weather. I don't know.
Yeah, better weather for sure. But I don't know. Otherwise, I feel I don't. I really didn't. It's just those meetings. If they could happen, maybe.
The self-organized ones.
Yes, the self-organized one, but it's not to do with organizers because it's just we,
Yeah.
the participants, in charge of that. But otherwise, I thought I really like the structure. The first days of, you know, like researching and sharing the ideas, producing ideas, and then getting on with work, and them being there for us to support us. And I really feel their presence there, and I feel that they're being very supportive. The food is amazing. I don't know. I
Perfect.
think it's good.
Perfect. Then the last request from here. If you were to put 3 words on your stay on this project, whatever comes to mind, what would that be?
3 words.
Yeah, 3 words that kind of describe your emotions.
Kind of describe my emotions.
It can be whatever, really.
Okay. I find this difficult.
Yeah, but just please take your time and reflect. Some
Yeah.
just do it spontaneously. Some think of
Yeah.
it and you just give it your go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, difficult. And I'm just thinking that the way I've been feeling,
Yeah.
rather than of the project.
Mm.
I don't know. For me, it's been like exciting, inspiring, and yeah, I guess productive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.